Welcome to the section on arrays. In this section, I'm going to teach you about what an array is, why it's useful, how to access elements from it, and I'll get you set up for some challenges so you can get some experience working with arrays. So you might be asking, what is an array? Well, an array is pretty simple. An array is a type of variable that can hold more than one piece of information that share the same data type. So like a bunch of strings or a bunch of game objects or a bunch of ints. And I'm going to show you how to declare this. So go ahead and open up Unity. And inside here, I'm just going to go into our main script and empty it out. Okay, so in our main script, let's imagine that we have, let's say, like a multiplayer game. And in this game, you want to hold the information for all of the different players' like usernames, right? So maybe you'd have like public string player name 1, and that equals whatever their username is, like. And let's say you have another one, public string player name 2, and that equals something like anonymous. And public string player name 3. And imagine if I had, say, 500 different players playing this game. It would be super obnoxious to have to type out 500 times. This, and cases like this, is where an array would come in. So instead of typing out each individual string, all we would type out is maybe say public string, and then you use array brackets to signify that you want to take in more than one. And then just like any other variable, you give it a name, and I would call it like player names, right? And I could also, even in script, I could set that equal to a new set of strings and specify the size is 3. So I'm going to save this and hop into Unity and show you what this looks like. So I've attached the main script to my main camera, and here you can see the individual strings, player name 1, 2, and 3, how we traditionally know how to add those. And then here is what it would look like if it was an array. And you can see that we've specified that the size is 3. And if I open this up, it now has 3 elements, and I can declare them in the inspector if I wanted to, right? So like cool guy 57, anonymous, super sprinkles. So this is how arrays work. They are the same data type, but stored within one variable name. So now back in our script, I'm going to show you that there's 3 different ways that you could declare them. So for example, let's say we're taking in player names, and you can just declare an array like this, and then specify the size and fill in the details in the inspector. You can also declare an array like this. So let's say maybe we also have an array of integers that will be our player levels. And you could set that equal to the same way that I just showed you right now, like a new set of integers, and you specify the size here in script. This way right here is actually rarely used, or at least I don't really see it used this way often. The more common way is doing it just like this, declaring it in the script and then assigning it in the inspector. But there is actually the third way that you could do it, which is declaring the size and the values in your script. So I could say like public string player colors, and you could set that equal to a new array of strings, and then actually open up your curly brackets and specify how many there are. So you could say like red, blue, yellow, purple, black. Right, so you could declare your array like this and specify the values and the size in your script. But like I said, the most common way is actually just declaring the name of it and then filling in the information in the inspector in Unity. Looking at this, if we go back into Unity, let's look at the differences. Okay, so here's the differences. We have our player names, that's a size of 3, and because I filled them in before, the inspector saved that information. But normally, if I had just saved it, it would have been blank. We have player levels that we specified the size, but we didn't give any values to it, so we could fill in the levels here. So like 1, 2, 3, 4, 17, 96, I don't know. And then the player color, you can see is specified by size, and it's already populated because of what was in our script. Now, the problem with just defining in your script and then assigning in the inspector is that if Unity crashes, you will lose any changes in the inspector. So this little tiny asterisk up here that you can see, that means that your scene is not saved. So when I hit Command S or Control S if you're on a PC, and it crashed. I did not intend for it to crash. Cool, love that. Okay, let's reopen it. All right, so it crashed, but also all my data is still there. We got lucky. Cool. So the safest way to declare an array is how we did it for the colors, where we specify the size and the values. But the most common way is defining it in the script and then filling it in the inspector. So we have all of these arrays, but the next question is, how do we access an individual element? And it's important to note when you're looking at this that the array starts at 0. So the very first element of player names is element 0, and then 1 and 2. So what if I wanted to print out Cool Guy 57, right? I wanted to access that element and print out whatever the name of that player's name is. We would say, of course, debug.log, and then the player name that we want to print out is from our player names array. So we go ahead and type in the name of the array, and then you open up your array brackets, and you would put inside the array brackets the index that you want to print out. So for us, we're trying to access the first element, which is 0. And the way that you read this is you would read this by saying player names subindex 0, and that with a semicolon. And if we save the script, it will print out the first name in that array. All right, and you can see when I've hit play, Cool Guy 57 has printed out in our console. So we've successfully accessed element 0, which is the first item on our array. What if we wanted to say print out element number 3 of our player levels, which is the fourth item, right? Because it starts at 0, 0, 1, 2, 3. It'd be item number 4. We would debug.log player levels, open up our array brackets, our subindex, and we're looking for element 3. All right, so our console's printed out Cool Guy 57, and then it's printed out the number 4, which if we look on our script is element 3 on our player levels. Okay, let's do one more, and then I think you're ready for some challenges. So let's say in our color array, we wanted to print out the second item of our array. So I would say debug.log player color subindex 1, since the second item in our array is element 1. Let's hit save. And in our console, it's printed out Cool Guy 57, the number 4, and blue, which let's just double check. On our main camera, blue is element 1, which is the second item in our player color array. Awesome. Okay, so in the next set of videos, we're going to get some experience making arrays and printing out different values. And then we're going to take a look at how arrays work really well with loops. And we will finally introduce to you the for each loop. All right, see you in the next one where we're going to get into some challenges.